right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful link out there pushing this word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful link, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. All right. And what I want to get into this morning is going into a topic, called This Beautiful Truth. Okay, this beautiful truth, because as we really understand, begin to understand more and more, what we're a part of, okay, and what the will of the Heavenly Father is, okay, as you can, Romans 12 and 2, okay, it talks about us, being conformed to righteousness. And as we're being conformed to righteousness, we understand more and more what the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is. Okay? And we understand righteousness. All right? We understand the Lord's intent in the earth. Okay? Because as we look out into the planet Earth, and you see, all the problems, the wickedness, the corruption, okay, the violence, all right, the dysfunction. Well, the truth solves all those things, man. Okay, the judgment that the Lord's about to bring to the earth, the judgment is beautiful, man. Okay, America becoming a desert, that's a beautiful judgment, man. Okay, for America to be blotted out the earth, that's beautiful. Okay, and we had to grow into the understanding of these things, man. Okay, we're constantly growing. You see, and you look at our people, and how degenerate that they've become. Okay, and the judgment that the Lord has, for 2/3 to be eradicated, that's a beautiful judgment. And it's not, and then what's even more, beautiful about the truth, we understand that 2/3 of our people, they're going to come back in their right mind. All Israel shall be saved. Okay, and we understand that right now the Lord is dealing with a remnant. He's polishing up a remnant. And even amongst the remnant, it's a beautiful thing because, as we are in these camps, we have the privilege, to be in the camp and be around, amongst brothers. Okay, just the spirit of Yahushua in brothers, and it's a prelude to the kingdom. Okay, the brotherly love, all right, and not just in charity, okay, but also in correction. Okay, because we was taught in this society, correction was somebody hating on you. Okay, we was taught to, somebody, giving you constructive criticism and somebody hating on you. Well, in the truth, we understand, all right, that love, the form of love is rebuke and correction. And it's so easy to operate amongst men who understand that concept. Okay? And there's times when, you have, your moments in this thing amongst men. Okay, but it's rare. Okay, and then even then, it makes the bond stronger because, both, it creates a situation, okay, where men have to look inwardly and then come to the conclusion that, hey, we both could have did better in the situation, man. You see? So, youth is so beautiful because you can just see what the Lord is doing real time in the earth. Whether it's like say it's amongst the body, amongst men, amongst the camps. Okay? You see what the Lord is doing in the earth, how he dismantling the kingdom of Esau. You can tell Esau is frustrated, okay, in his attempt to establish, his new world order. Okay? You can tell this devil is frustrated at the truth, being, published. Okay? This This man's strongholds and enchantments are becoming weaker. Okay, his military dominance in the earth is becoming weaker, man. You know, and it's all a part of the truth. Okay, see, the truth is just the truth of the matter. Okay, if you're told that America is going to be destroyed, well, that's a true statement. And we're telling you that these other nations, okay, are going to come up against Edomite supremacy. Well, that's a true statement. Okay, and we tell you that there's a standard that's going to be lifted, okay, amongst, okay, the believers in the time of chaos. Well, that's a true statement. See, the truth is the truth. You know, and then you can just see the more that we tapped into the truth, you can see life beyond Babylon. Okay, you can see an existence where this devil is not in power. Okay, and the goodness of the Lord flourishing amongst his people, man. Okay, a little will become 1,000, a small and a strong nation. You can see those things, man. In righteousness, it's all in righteousness, man. You know, and the beautiful thing about the truth is we know that there's going to be a righteous kingdom at the fall of this kingdom. Okay, and that's going to be the standard forever, man. And it's such a comforting thing, you know, to know and understand it. Okay, you see, because you look at this society, man, these people don't know what to expect next, man. They don't know what's next. Okay, people are being priced out of, living. You know, it's damn near impossible to afford to live on the earth, man. This is how wicked and corrupt this man's system is, that he has it to the point to where it's damn near impossible, okay, to afford to live. Okay, and he's doing this in the temple of his new world order. And going back to the beautiful truth, okay, is that we know he fails. Okay, we don't have the burden of hoping or, that this man fails. No, we know this man is going to fall. The Lord's not going to allow this man, okay, to pull off this wicked enterprise that he's trying to establish in the earth, man. Okay, this devil is numbered. All right, his days is numbered, his rulership is numbered. So as we see this man, attempting to set up this NWO, which is completely wicked, it could be a digital, all right, prison, and he plans on it being a utopia for the super rich and a dystopia for everyone else. Brothers can look them words up. Okay, he plans on his new age being a utopia, okay, for the super rich, the elites and the super rich, okay, and a dystopia for everyone else. Okay, and that's how he wants to run the earth forever, man. Like, this guy is an absolute madman. That's another thing. Like, this truth requires us to, investigate this devil. As we investigate this nigga, you find out, like, goddamn, this nigga is an absolute madman. All right, with no intention of stopping. Okay, with no intention of any mercy. Okay, here it is. This man has all this influence, all this wealth. Okay, and this nigga just won't stop. It's never enough. Okay, because the Lord, you gotta think, the Lord has allowed the earth to be submitted to Esau, Edom, but this nigga won't stop. He just keep being a whole ass nigga, and he got to find something else, to destroy. You see, the scriptures say he loses sleep unless he causes some to fall. Okay, so this devil is all about, oppression, confusion, violence, okay, death. This is what this man is about, and that only increases under his rulership. His technology, you look at, he boasts technology, but then it's like, okay, there's still all these missing children. Well, wait a minute, okay? You know where Iran's underground nuclear facilities are, but you don't know where these children are. Okay, all this technology, AI, AI can solve a problem in 5 minutes that will take years. Okay, but you can't solve the problem of the missing children. Okay, so this kingdom, okay, is rooted in wickedness, man. And this devil, with this technology, he wants to forward his wickedness, man. He wants more control. Okay, he wants complete control. You see, and that's one thing. That's one of the major things that's beautiful about the truth, is that the devil loses, man. You know, brothers can put them precepts up. Job 5 and 12, okay, and 13. All right, Revelation 12 and 7, okay, Jeremiah 50 and 22. You know, a brother can post that. You know, because it speaks to Isaiah 47. You know, verses 1, I think through 3. You know, just put them up for the comment board's sake. But nah, man, there's just numerous scriptures. You know, Isaiah 63 and 1. Okay, 63 verses 1 through 3. Okay, and the Lord is specific. That's why you go to Isaiah 63 and 1. It says, "Who is this?" Okay, they're coming from Edom with dyed garments of bottom. Okay, let you know that our shy is coming back to deal with this nigga, man. He's made the thing about the truth is that this nigga's a dress, man. Okay, Joel 3 and 19. Egypt shall become, okay, a destruction, Edom, a desolation. You know, because it puts Esau, okay, in the role of a modern day Pharaoh. Okay, which what did the Lord do? He completed the kingdom of Egypt. Okay, and then with America, this is going to be completely destroyed forever. You see, so you go through the scriptures, man, and this man's downfall, okay, is all throughout the scriptures, man. Okay, and this man is addressed. See, there's nothing else that addresses this man directly. You see, people of the world, even these alternative news sites, they think that, okay, if we can just put the elites in prison, then society can recover. No, this whole system has to be destroyed. Everything that they've established, everything that these devils have established has to be destroyed. Okay, that's why you go to 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. It talks about the elements, being melted with fervent heat. Okay, and all the works therein, burn. And the works is everything that this man has established. All these systems of government, all these financial systems, okay, all the social norms that he's created in the earth. No, all this got to go. Okay? This devil is going to go into prison, but it's not going to be, okay, on Coney Island. You're going to put this nigga on Coney Island. No, this nigga is going to work. He's going to slavery. He's going to be in prison, but he's going to slavery with a lot of other people. Okay? Because this man has defiled the earth. Alright? Because putting the elites in prison or taking down the deep state, no. All you people have been defiled. Your way of thinking has been defiled by this man. Okay? And the only thing will happen is some more elites will emerge, because this is a toxic, alright, crooked, corrupt atmosphere to where more elites will just emerge. So this whole system has to go down. Everything that they've established, alright, has to be completely wiped clean. That's why America is just going to be erased. Okay? America, it has to be blotted out completely. Okay? And the whole, alright, infrastructure and the whole, government system, financial system, all that has to go. Like I say, the social norm, that's why for 1,000 years, okay, it's going to be a rigorous captivity, man, to destroy the social fabric. The brother can post that definition. Social fabric. So the social fabric of this current society can be completely destroyed, man. Okay? That 1,000 years, that rigorous captivity, it's going to destroy a way of thinking that has been established in the earth by this devil, man. And he has destroyed, okay, the minds of the people to think in a particular way. You see, the devil has corrupted, the minds, okay, of the masses. Okay, so that 1,000-year captivity, all right, that's going to scrub, okay, the the damage done by Esau, man. It's going to scrub the filth, okay, of Esau out of the earth, man. Okay, his righteousness is being established. You see, and that's one of the things to look forward to. The truth. That's why the truth is so beautiful, man, because it gives us so much to look forward to, man. These people in this world, they have nothing to look forward to, man. Niggas started the Essence Fest. He thought the Essence Fest, like goddamn. Nothing to look forward to. Everything is played out. Jake not going to the club anymore. Okay? Niggas don't ruin cruises. You see? Sports is, watered down. Okay? The NIL messing up college sports. It's like everything just being corrupted and defiled and watered down and tainted. And there's nothing to look forward to. These people have nothing to look forward to, man. Most people spend most of their day faking like they're happy, man. People are addicted to their phones, They don't even appreciate the earth that's around them. That's one of the things, too. The truth makes us appreciate the earth around us, man. Creation itself, man. Just tapping into creation itself. You see, and then the kingdom was just going to be, we're going to have this abundance of time and wisdom and resources, man, to enjoy the earth. Okay? The truth gives us a lot to look forward to, man. It's one of the things that makes it so beautiful, man. Okay? And the Lord is making it easy for us to be dead to this world, man. There's nothing. Come on, man. You see, if regular black people, because you got black people, then you got niggas. But if regular, Jake, all right, the earth is playing out to them, how much more us, man? Okay? Because this is just a lewd kingdom. You have to be an absolute, degenerate, okay, to look at this place as something great. You have to be complete degenerate, all right, to look out at society and look forward to this place continuing on. Okay? You see? So, man, the truth, it gives us so much more to look forward to, okay, beyond this shit, man. You see? So when you you look out, like I say, you go back to the problems of the earth. Well, the truth solves everything. You see? The truth solves all the problems of the earth, even the problems that we got. We still got issues, and, we're plagued in the mind, and certain regrets, that we gotta live with. Well, the truth is going to solve all that, man. Okay? The damage that's been done to us by the society, man, these situations that we're in. Okay? Well, the truth solves these things, man. This is why, when we think about the truth, man, it should be instant joy. Okay? Because the vexation comes from this world. Like, the vexation comes from knowing the truth and still being in this world. You increase in wisdom and you increase in sorrow because of the circumstances, man. Okay? This rulership is a problem. This wicked rulership, the earth under Esau, Edom, that's the problem. You see? And the truth solves that problem. Okay? That's why voting does nothing for our people, man. Voting does nothing for anybody except the elites and the super rich, which, voting is pretty much a survey to see how many people are still, bought into this system. Okay? That's the only thing that they tally up in these votes, is to see, Okay, what percentage of people are still buying into this system, man? You see, but it does nothing for the direction that the earth is going in. As long as these elites, these Edomites are in power, it's only gonna get worse. It's gonna get more degenerate. It's gonna get more satanic, more violent, more lewd. Okay, children will never be safe. The animals, all right, they can never function in their purpose. Okay, people are gonna continue to be, oppressed. You know, so this truth, man, it just gives that joy knowing that, okay, like brother can put that Psalm 73, okay, and I believe verses 17 through 20, okay, because you go into that psalm, Asaph was he was a Levite, okay, he was one of the head of the choirs of King David, okay, when you had the Levitical priests, there was a choir, there was singers, singing praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, okay, and Asaph, Psalm 73, that's a heavy Psalms, but he begins off in that Psalms complaining about the prosperity of the wicked. He was like, how are these niggas so set up, man? They not in trouble as other men. These niggas got generational wealth. They proud, they violent. Okay? They good, like these niggas are set up, man. He was complaining. But then you get later on down in the chapter, Psalm 73, and he comes to this realization. He said, until I went into the sanctuary of the Lord. You see, until I went into the sanctuary of the sanctuary of the Lord, then I understood their end. Okay, I believe that's the 17th verse, 17, 18, one of them. So until he went into the sanctuary of the Lord, and you can feel, even when you read that song, that burden off on him like a relief. Understanding that the Lord gonna end these niggas, man. The Lord set these niggas up for failure, man. Psalm 37 and 25. King David said he seen the wicked spread themselves like a green bay tree. Okay, but then it goes into them being cut off, all right, and not being found. Okay, so these scriptures explain to us like why this nigga he has been allowed to do what he's been able to do and prosper, man, his wickedness. Well, the Lord set him up for failure, man. Okay, and this nigga is just the latest example of what rebellion against Yahweh Bashem Al Shah leads to. See, Esau is going to be the last example, great example of a wicked kingdom. Okay, that's why the Lord's going to showcase so much power when he judges Esau. Okay, that's why this Exodus, this second Exodus, okay, is going to dwarf, all right, the first Exodus. You see, because the Lord's going to showcase way more power. This nigga here. You see, the Lord's going to show way more power. All right, in this Exodus, man. Okay, because he finna make a statement. The Lord's finna make a global statement, man. And that's another thing to look forward to, man. The judgment of the Lord that really hit these heathens, man. Was this the book of Sirach, the 36th chapter. Okay, where you had our forefather make a prayer. All right, and he was begging the Lord to show his power on the heathen, man. Pretty much, like begging the Lord to let these heathens know, all right, that you ain't the one. Okay, and the Lord will, we endure, man, we get to see that, man. We get to see the Lord showcase that power on these heathens, man. You see? And ultimately hope we be in that skybox, that chariot, as America is turned into a lake of fire. Okay? And people being tormented in that fire, man. They're weeping and gnashing their teeth. Okay? Which is hey, that's the Lord making a major statement in the earth, man. Alright? Because one thing the devil has done, he has gotten people to take the Heavenly Father lightly. As if this is a light thing. You see? Okay? But nah, the Lord finna bring fear. Alright? The fear of him back in the earth. You see, and it's gonna be beautiful, man, because we see what the world looks like with no fear of the Lord. You see, we see exactly what the world looks like with no fear of a higher power. Okay? Absolutely atrocious, man. You see? Everybody hate each other, there's no trust. Okay? Life is, life is not appreciated. There's no appreciation for life, man. There's no, you see? 12, 13-year-old serial killers. Okay? Children transformers, man. Complete atrocious. Okay? When the earth is operating without the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? And the beautiful thing about the truth, Yahweh Shai, we know Yahweh Shai is coming to play cleanup, man. That's why it says in Jeremiah 25 and 33. Okay? In that day, the slain of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth to the other. Okay? Yahweh Shai is coming to play cleanup, man, because there's a lot of, judgment. Okay? And the scriptures say righteous judgment is slack. So there's just, a lack of judgment in the earth where Yahweh Shai is coming to catch up that judgment. That's why it's going to be so, it's going to be a slaughter. You see, Yahweh Shai is coming to get the world caught up in righteous judgment. Okay? So, yeah, man, the truth is beautiful, man. It's the end of Esau, and it's the beginning of us. Like I said, man, it's a beautiful thing, to be able to be around the body, these beautiful brothers, the growth, you see brothers coming to the truth, and, brothers that started families, and, children born into the truth, man, which, there's nothing we publicize, there's nothing that we put on the forefront, but behind the scenes, man, it's a beautiful thing. You see second generation Israelites, born into the faith. Okay? Brothers, brothers have beautiful families. Some brothers have beautiful families, man. It's a beautiful thing, as we begin to operate as the Lord intended us, man, in righteousness, man. To the best of our ability on this side. Okay? So just to see, the Lord working, and let's say to have access, to this beautiful body of men, just off-camera conversations, man, to just build each other up, iron sharpening iron. Okay? So it's a beautiful thing that we're a part of, man, that we get to see it. We got front row seats, okay, to the Lord showing his power. Okay? So that was the point. I just wanted to get into that. Just thinking about it this morning, man, like this is a beautiful thing because, we don't, of course we're vexed, man, but we don't want to be, depressed in that woe is me spirit. Like, nah, man, think of the goodness of the Lord. Because the easiest thing to do and Satan play on there is for us to think of the negatives and, dwell on things and be in our mind and inflict ourselves in our own mind, and I have to shake myself out of that, often, man, especially in these times, man. Okay, I just shake myself out of that, man, and think positive, man. Think about what the Lord is doing, and operate from that space, of the goodness of the Lord. Okay, the simple things, man. The daily food, raiment. Okay, just to be in this truth and know this understanding, to be able to teach and edify. Okay, to have the resources necessary to operate in our situation, man. Really appreciate the simple things, man, and operate from that, man, because it's easy to think about what we don't got, but then you think about what the Lord is doing and put you in a different place, man, and put us in a different place when we focus on what the Lord is doing, His goodness. I think that's Psalms 27 and 13, 14. I had fainted unless I believed that I was going to see, all right, the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Okay? Because that's what keeps us up, man. All right? And that's why you see people, suicide has went up in this society. People have just let themselves go. Obesity. Okay? Just people are just trying to find any comfort through, pleasure. And you see, but our comfort is knowing that He is. Our comfort is knowing that Yahweh Shai finna come back, man. And we have a great chance to be on that number. That's our comfort, man. And then we look at what the Lord is doing for us on a day-to-day basis. That's our comfort, man. You see, this is what we're comforted by now. All right? And see, this is the comfort that this world can't take away because the world didn't give it. Okay? So, yeah, man, just want to go into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right? And you sisters edify once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully, shalom.